Good morning and welcome to another ACY Securities Market Update. My name is Alistair Schultz and I'm going to be your host through today's trading journey. Now, we've had a lot of action going on overnight. I'm sure some of you would have already seen some of the news that's going on. So I'm just going to have a look at a very simple idea of stuff that's been going on overnight, what it's done to some of the markets, and what we're going to expect later today. So the first thing to sort of cover is a little bit of a virus update. We now have more than 174,000 people diagnosed worldwide, with deaths over 7,000. This number is obviously expected to keep growing. How far is really the question that's on everyone's lips at the moment, but at this stage, it's looking like it is going to be well and truly into June and July. Now, we've also had more travel restrictions put in place. So on the chart that you can see behind me, you can see just how much the world is being restricted in terms of travel, regardless of whether it's business or for pleasure. But in addition to this, we're also starting to see a lot more lockdowns of countries as a whole. London is the most recent to have been locked down entirely, not allowing people in or out of the city itself. Now, we have also heard since then that the US has put Ireland and the UK on the travel restriction list. So if you are in the UK or planning to travel there, you may want to revise your travel plans at this point in time. Now, overnight, we've had a fair bits of stuff come out. We've had US stocks dive the most since 1987. The S&P 500 has fallen 12%, which has wiped out all the gains from 2019 almost immediately. We've also had Trump come out and start speaking. He has actually said now that the economy could fall into recession due to the coronavirus, but that's something we already knew. We've just been waiting for officials to say it, and now the big man himself has. Central bank stimulus has also seems to have failed, with the Fed cut with a full 1% rate. They've left themselves with no more room to really do anything else, including that they've already started doing quantitative easing. So we're seeing that the Fed has really kind of blown their load and everything that they could really do, and it's run out of the ability to really control much more. Fed has turned around and said that they would like to see more fiscal policy occurring to try and help control coronavirus, but traders aren't having any of it. As you can see on the S&P 500 and the losses that have been already, this is likely going to continue. We've also had crude oil drop by about 10%, and a report about airlines being basically running out of money is also being a big issue at the moment. We've already had two major airlines sort of drop out of the race. We're expecting by May that a large portion of global airlines will be declaring bankruptcy, and likely a series of mergers and acquisitions will occur for the amalgamation of several aviation companies into sort of one will likely occur further down the track. So keep an eye on those sort of things, because you might be able to find a little bit of opportunity in some of those airline manufacturers and of course the airlines themselves. So keep an eye on it. Let's see what happens in the future. I will obviously give you an update if I see something further down the track anyway. Now, just to give you a bit of an idea on what's gone on with the markets overnight, here is the S&P 500, and you can see how large that swing low has really taken a toll on it. And we have a move that's been more than 12%. It has dropped down. There were circuit breakers triggered yet again. So, we are expecting to see a little bit more. My anticipation is that the price is going to continue going. And if you were to compare the GFC in 2008 and how far price moved then to what's gone on now, the biggest difference being GFC took an entire year to do the prices that we are seeing today. So keep an eye on that, have a look at it, probably worth a good trading opportunity if you can get in short, but we'll have to keep an eye on what's going on. Now, having a look at Australia, this week there is a fair bit of Australian news coming out. The central bank is expected to be talking, and we're also expecting to get a bit of action out of them this week. Some as early as today at 11:30 a.m, we're expecting a monetary policy statement to be coming out, which means that Governor Lowe, the gentleman on the behind me that you can see right now, will likely be speaking. Now, in addition to all of that, we've seen Australian Treasury 10-year yields drop 16 points in the last sort of few days. We're expecting that the RBA will likely try and use yield curve targeting as a possible method of monetary stimulus moving forward. So that might be one of the ways that they're going to try and curb the economy at the moment. And we're also expecting there to be an increase in fiscal stimulus, considering the RBA doesn't really have many options left, just like the Fed has put themselves in it as well. So bar from all of that, ASIC has also reported the largest volumes of trading they have basically ever seen on record in the past 2 weeks. So it's no surprise to see that we're seeing some volatile markets. We might have some new investors occurring, and or we're just getting a lot of people trying to get in and out of the market, not knowing which direction they want to settle for in all reality. So beyond that though, the news that we have ahead of today, we have at 11:30 a.m. a RBA monetary policy statement. Governor Lowe will likely be talking, so keep an eye for both of those. You might see some action on the Aussie and even the ASX 200. Now at 9 p.m. we have a German zoo report, which is a business economics report that monitors what's going on and surveys a lot of people in Germany. So being that Germany is kind of in a position right now in Europe where they've got a large coronavirus outbreak, it will be interesting to see what people think about the economy moving forward. Now at 11 p.m. we have US retail sales. I am anticipating there to be some negative data coming out of there. You can't quote me on it, but I do believe that we'll be seeing some negative data considering all the lockdowns that are going on in the US right now with Seattle, LA. Doesn't really matter where you look, there seems to be a city that is in a lockdown due to the coronavirus there. Now, of course, the other thing to take into consideration is all day today and overnight, we'll be having EU summits about economics, and we will likely be hearing a fair bit about the impact from the coronavirus out of that. So any release that comes out of this summit is likely to be unscheduled. So be aware of anything that comes out. Maybe keep some of your news channels open so you can see what's going on a bit more regularly. And of course, review them a bit later if you can. Now, if there's anything in today's video or perhaps the previous videos that we've done, feel free to get in contact with me if you have any questions about it. My email is talktoal@acy.com. And of course, like and subscribe the video so that you can get more great content from me and ACY Securities in the future. Have a good trading day ahead.